evening and good afternoon to viewers from all walks of life. This is Desmos, and you're welcome to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empaths free. If you are new on this channel, I talk about narcissism and narcissistic abuse. I talk about spirituality, and I talk about self and personal development. And if any of that resonates with you, I invite you guys to join us, give us a like, share the video with friends, and you may subscribe if you haven't already. And for those that have always been with us, you are welcome back, and I thank you for your love and support. Now, before I start this video, I would like to send out a message to the future clients who are willing to have sessions with me. For the most of you guys, you already know if you have been having sessions with me, you know how I do my thing. So basically, the hint number one is you are going to first of all get yourself together. You're first of all going to calm down. You're going to first of all make sure that you're in the right state of mind. And then now you can book a session with me, and I will help you first of all to break you free from the narcissist. And secondly, I'm going to help you to heal. Now, I have personally been involved with the narcissist for so many years, and I know all the little details. So at the end of the day, it took me a lot of work to heal. So I put in the work, I did the work, and I healed. So and I'm now in position to help you guys out there, empaths out there who are struggling, the victims. I'm also going to help you to walk you through the freedom process first, and secondly, the healing process. But during the sessions with me, I will not tolerate any form of projections. So if you have got some other things you're dealing with in your mind, you've got some emotional, you're not in a good emotional state, I would guarantee that you have to wait with the sessions, and you have to make sure that when we start the sessions, you have got to be in a good emotional state. Make sure that you put yourself together, and then you can book a session with me. Because should I sense any form of projection, whatever it is you're dealing with, and you want to project it to me or something like that, I will actually terminate the session. So that one is clear. And secondly, for the most of you guys, you have seen there's some people who are coming around and posting stuff on this channel. Whatever it is, their own advertisements, or sometimes the other people bringing a lot of BS on this channel. Now, this channel is all about good energy. So anything I sense is of a negative nature, negative energy, it doesn't matter who you are, I'll have to remove you from the channel. So you may not have to be able to post any stuff on my channel in the future. So when I sense any kind of negativity, you're trying to bring out your negativity and post it on this channel, whatever it is you're dealing with, nobody knows. I'll just remove you from the channel. I'll remove your comments, and I'll block you from this channel permanently. Now, that being said, in today's video, I would like to talk about the narcissist worst nightmare. Now, the narcissists, they also have fears. You know what I mean? So usually you guys don't know this, because at that point maybe you're still in your healing journey. So you may not really know what exactly is behind the facade and behind the mask of the narcissist. The narcissists, they also have their own fears. A lot of times, many people have come out and they have said the narcissists fear being exposed. Some others say they fear being exposed, being rejected, and so many kinds of different opinions from different people. So there's a lot of fears the narcissists have. But when we talk about a nightmare, we're actually talking about the people responsible for inflicting that kind of fear to the narcissist. And these are the guys, we call them the super empaths. Now, the super empaths, those individuals, number one, they are very humble people. They are very humble people. They don't intend anything negative to anybody. So they do not intend to harm or hurt anybody in any way. So normally those individuals, they're very composed. They are very patient. They are very tolerant. They will be with those narcissists. They will struggle with them. They will fight for them. They will do everything to make sure that those kind of entanglements work. Those super empaths, initially, they are regular empaths like everybody else. So they are empaths who are probably not in the beginning, not self-aware, so they don't know what's going on. They don't know who they are. And most of the times, that's why the narcissists, they take advantage of them, because those individuals, they're literally sleep empaths. So they're empaths who are still asleep. But when an empath awakens, that empath is going to literally take back all of his power. His or her power back. So they're going to take back their power. So it doesn't really matter if they're taking their power back from the parents, if they're the guys who have been toxic in that situation, or it doesn't matter if they're taking it from their partners or whatever, friends. They are going to take each and every single bit of their power back, all of it. Now, usually what happens with empaths is Those empaths, they go through a process. Number one, the empaths, they are going to mourn. They are going to mourn the loss. If it has been a relationship, they will take their time to mourn the loss of that relationship. It has been a situationship, they are going to mourn the situationship. If it has been a family situation, they are going to mourn the loss of those families. They are going to go within, they will sit by themselves, they will take a lot of time. And now those empaths, they are going to go into a full-blown healing process. They're going to do each and everything they can to make sure that they heal after abuse, because they already now assess, they can already assess, they're counting the losses, they're counting the costs of what it has cost them to be in those entanglements, but they're also counting the losses of having been involved with narcissists. So they're counting whatever it is they have got to lose. So some of them, they have lost their families, they have lost their businesses, a lot of them, they have lost their health, a lot of them, they have lost everything about them. Now those individuals, they want to mourn the loss of those guys they're leaving behind. After they mourn the loss of whatever it is they have lost behind in those entanglements and situationships, those empaths, they're going to start becoming enlightened. So they're going to go out and dig for information. So they're going to now start to find out what exactly, first of all, who they are, and secondly, what exactly has been going on behind the veil. So they're going to go down the rabbit hole. Now, the empath, as they go through that process, they are also in a way getting highly empowered. You know what I mean? So each and every single day they're waking up and they're getting empowered to make sure that they understand, they get to the bottom of whatever it is that has been going on in those situationships. So they are going to go down the rabbit hole. They will read a lot of books. They will go online. They will search for information. They will Google things. They will do this. They will make sure that they get to the bottom of exactly who a narcissist is. Because remember, before the empath awakens, they don't really know who they are, and they don't even know that they've been dealing with a narcissist. So that's the reason why when they awaken, they kind of notice something has been going wrong. And usually the first thing they do, they take all of their power back, number one. And number two, they extract themselves out of those entanglements and situationships. So they go down to mourn, number one. And secondly, they now start to go to the bottom of the things. They want to know exactly who is this narcissist? What are they all about? What have they been hiding from you? What has been going on behind closed doors? Now, that's exactly when those empaths, they're starting to look behind the veil. And to look behind the veil, you have got to go down the rabbit hole. So you have got to go down and dig for very deep information exactly that involves narcissists, because you want to know exactly what have you been dealing with and how much time have you been spending with this kind of individuals without even knowing it. So you are going to go to the bottom, to the root of this problem and the cause of this problem. Now, the very moment you go down the rabbit hole and you've discovered all these little details and the little events and details, and now you fully know and understand who a narcissist is, that is when you're going to discover that actually these narcissists, they have got number one, a very fragile ego. That is the first thing. So it is as simple as holding a glass of water, and that glass slips out of your hands and falls down to the ground. It is going to completely crack. So that's when you're going to know that these narcissists, their ego can be actually fractured by a simple touch, sometimes by a simple word. So you're going to know where the weakest point is. And that is exactly when you're going to start knowing that actually for all this time, these individuals, they've been taking you for a ride. They've been trying to make you believe that they're so powerful, they're the mighty ones, they are the ones who can do this and who can do that. So normally, they have, on a very subconscious level, been feeding off your energy. And in one way or the other, you have been empowering these narcissists to feel and to give them as much power, the power that doesn't even belong to them. So for all these years of endurance and entanglements and situationships, the narcissists have been actually using your power. They have been feeding off of your energy, you have been empowering them, and now they have been taking back your power. So it's some kind of a reverse psychology whereby they are actually reversing the situation to make sure you look like the weak one, and on the other hand, they look like the powerful ones. But now that you're awake, you started getting enlightened, you've gone down the rabbit hole, you know all the simple details, you finally discover that these individuals are very fragile, and eventually they don't have any power within them, and on top of that, they also have got a very fragile ego. So what usually happens is that now you're going to start fighting back in full force. As you're fighting back, you start to become an empowered empath. So the empowered empath, those are the guys, they call them the super empaths. You evolve from being an ordinary empath into a super empath. And those are the guys which are actually the worst, the narcissist's worst nightmare. The moment you realize that the narcissist has gone silent, they've run away from you, all of a sudden they used to be coming around, poking at you, sending you little messages, coming around at your workplace. All of a sudden, you've noticed at some point that the narcissist has disappeared and they're nowhere to be seen. It's like they have actually gone off the radar of this planet. They have now found out that actually you've caught up with them. You see, when an empath catches up with the narcissist will still hang around at some point. The empath may know that yes, they are narcissists, I think this and that. They may sometimes call them out, or sometimes they may start to change the way they act towards them. The narcissist will know, but they will still hang around. But I can guarantee you something: if you do not know that already, an empowered empath is a very dangerous empath, because the super empath, those individuals, they finally find out who a narcissist is, number one, and secondly, they already find out who they really are. They find out that they are the ones with the power, and they are the ones with the remote. So they are the ones in charge of the remote, and they are the ones in charge of this game. They are the ones actually who can be able to face the narcissist in their eyes and tell them exactly who they are and what exactly they are all about. That's the reason why you see those narcissists, they flee. The very moment they decide, they finally find out that you have been empowered, and at some point you are fully awakened and enlightened, they are going to run very far away from you, and they are going to consider you as a threat. You know what I mean? So that's why it becomes very tricky, because usually when it comes to that moment, it becomes a bit dangerous, because the narcissists believe at some point in that mode of getting empowered, you're extremely dangerous and a very big threat to them. So sometimes if you're dealing with the narcissists who are involved with black magic, witchcraft, and those kind of things, they are going to go to extreme, desperate means to terminate you. They're going to make sure that they try to do everything in their power to make sure that they silence you. But at that moment, an empowered empath, the super empath, they already know, they already know all the simple details. They already know all the simple dots. They can add everything together, and they can know exactly how to hurt themselves. And they know when it comes to the narcissist, they already know what they need to hit. So when they hit the narcissist, they're going to hit at their weakest point. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter weakest or strongest, but they are going to hit the narcissist exactly where it hurts. And so as they're hitting back to the narcissist, that is when they're forcing those narcissists. They have got to go back and reflect and look themselves in the mirror. Because you see, one thing you have to understand with the narcissist, they do not want to take responsibility for whatever it is they are doing. So they don't, first of all, they don't want to be caught. That is for sure. Everybody knows that. They don't want to be caught in their game. Number two, even if you try to catch up on them, they can never actually face the reality of who they are and take back responsibility of whatever it is they've been doing. So they are not ready to look themselves in the mirror. But an empowered empath, it does not matter who they are. It does not matter who the narcissist is, whether they are parents, whatever it is, people who have actually at some point meant so much to you. Those empaths, they are going to do everything in their power to make sure that they strike back. They are going to fight back, and they are going to force that narcissist to go back and reflect and look themselves in the mirror. And that is exactly when those narcissists, they're going to come to their awakening. Now, this one is very important. I want you guys to listen very, very closely. When a narcissist, if it's a low-grade narcissist, the narcissist who don't really are aware of their patterns and their actions or whatever it is, or those guys who don't even really know who they are. So most of the times, those narcissists, when an empath awakens and moves on to elevate and grow and evolve, those empaths, they are going to force those narcissists to awaken. So the super empath, the reason why they're the narcissist's worst nightmare, because those are the empaths who are capable of awakening narcissists. I'm talking about the awakening whereby the narcissist is going to awaken to the reality that they're narcissist, because they are going to fire back and they're going to fight back and they're going to push them or pull them or drag them or whatever it is psychologically to make sure that they put them in front of the mirror, and they're going to be able to look at themselves for who they really are. And those guys, believe me or not, if you don't know that already, those guys, they're not ready to see the real image of who they really are on a very subconscious level. So the super empath, they force those individuals to look within themselves, and most of the times it can even sometimes usually it can cause a narcissist an injury. You know what I mean? So when you're forcing a narcissist to show them and to mirror back their evil acts and their evil deeds in front of them, usually you can cause a narcissist an awakening, whereby the narcissist is going to awaken to the fact that they are narcissist. You know what I mean? Because then now you're going to start reading back all the patterns they have been involved with for a very long period of time. You're going to start mirroring back all their little games. You're going to mirror them back. So when they try to do something to you, you're going to make it known that actually you're aware whatever it is they are doing is abuse, whether it has been physical abuse or whether it has been psychological abuse. But in whichever way, shape, or form, you are going to force that narcissist, whether they want it or they don't want it, to look themselves, and they're going to actually have to reflect and understand they are narcissists. And not only that, you have also figured them out that they're narcissists. So they do not want to be caught at any level for whichever case. They do not ever want to be caught. That's the reason why they call them, a lot of them, you see the covert ones, they stay as covert as they can. So the very moment they figure out that you're actually catching up on them, that is when you see them running into thin air, disappearing from the red of the earth, and never to hear from them again. So when you've come to that point whereby you see there is a narcissist you've been involved with, maybe it was your father back in the days, or it was your brothers or sisters or whatever it is, and you notice for some reason they are silent. They do not want to contact you. They're not even bothered about you. They don't even want to face you in front of them. They already know you have awakened. They already know you are empowered. They already know your bulbs have gone on, and they already know the power that you hold within. You are able to fracture the narcissist. You are able to break the narcissist to the core. I can guarantee you guys a super empath, an empowered empath. I've told you guys over and over in my videos. Those individuals, they are very dangerous, because those individuals, they do not tolerate evil at whatever cost. When they notice there's somebody and those individuals are evil, those individuals, I can guarantee you, and in a very empathetic way, a very confusing number one, and a very empathetic way, they're going to fire back, and they're going to reflect back that evil back to those people who are doing that evil. In this case, we're talking about the narcissists. And those narcissists, believe me or not, that is exactly what is going to crack them. It is going to fracture them. It is going to break them and bring them face flat on the ground. So the narcissist knows that the super empath, as much as they are very beautiful souls, they are, they are people of good intentions. They are people who have very positive people. You know what I mean? They have all these good qualities with them. They know how much the empath is capable of. But they also know, on the other hand, that these individuals, when they notice they're being taken for a ride, they are going to actually slice back and hit back at those individuals. And they know, and they cannot face seeing all these evil things about them, and they cannot face looking at themselves in the mirror. They cannot face you showing them, or actually mirroring back to them, who exactly are they hiding behind the mask. You know what I mean? Because I've told you already, guys, the super empath, they have already looked behind the mask. So they already know the demons behind those individuals. They already know exactly who those individuals are compared to the image that they're trying to portray to the public and to the people in front of them. So when a person knows and has all that information, I can guarantee you, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're an evil person, you have got to stay very, very far away from them, because those individuals, they are going to kill you, they are going to torture you, they are going to do everything in your power to make sure that they mirror back to you what it is you're hiding behind the mask. So when you're talking about the narcissist worst nightmare, we're simply talking about the super empath, or rather, the empowered empath. Those are the empaths, the narcissists, they fear the most. That being said, guys, in this video, of course, you always know I love and appreciate your support. You can always book a session with me. Like I've said, guys, make sure that you get it together before we start any sessions. You have got to make sure you get it together. No matter what you're dealing with, I'm going to help you break you free. That's number one. And secondly, I'm going to move you towards a better place of healing within your soul. Now, let us know what you think about this video. Drop us a comment if you'd like to. You can always donate and support with this channel if you want to as well. All the links you need, you'll find them in the description section below. Until then, it's been lovely and a blessing to have you guys on board. Much love and blessings. Desmos signing out.